Hello? Oh, what's up, guys? Hi. How are we all doing? Look, I'm in the game. I say we play like one game of Unite, let everyone kind of get in here real quick, and then we'll get started with the tier list. We'll do like one warm-up game, all right? Like kind of to warm myself up too. My hair grows so fast. I know it does. I need to get a haircut soon already. You like the beard? I'm glad. Thank you. I reset my cache off stream. Is it still bugged? Got a double reset cache. 3, 2, 1. Who should?
You.
Boogie, what's up? Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Welcome back, homie. You really want to know what people think about AEOS Cup? You kind of missed the whole thing? What do you mean?
Prime time. Excited for this
A pine
stream,
nut.
laughing face.
Thank you for the prime. Welcome back. A prime nut. You think about it, it's like a prime nut. Prime nut. Do I know when they'll add a new map? I don't know. I don't even know if they will, but I hope so. Not shiny train, just a normal scam train. What's up, Aron? I'm doing all right. Oh, like during AEOS Cup what happened? Oh, well, I mean, the AEOS Cup play-ins, that meta is already over because that tournament happened with only one set of bans, right? So it meant guaranteed every game, either Buzz or Leafeon was going to be there. Did we do the tier list already? No, we haven't. I just went live. Not yet, not yet. This is a rerun? No, I'm recording the rerun right now, actually. A lot of people think Inteleon is balanced. Thoughts? I don't think it's balanced. I mean, let's not use the word balanced. Let's use the word average and above average, right? And I think Inteleon is far above average. Do I think it should be weaker? I'm not sure. I mean, it could be, and it could be weaker and still be good. So maybe it's imbalanced by that metric. But I do think it's better than all the other attackers, or a lot of the other attackers, not all of them. I don't know why I'm just like skipping a couple. It's made this more tough for me.
Inder yap, inder yap, inder
Makine.
yap.
Hey for the resub. Yap, 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 yap. Their treat saved for later. True. I don't even think I got all of them. Imbalance to balance. True. Balance in all things. I think Talon is underused. I think Talon is used about as much as it probably should be. Maybe Talon could see some more play. Maybe. How do I have a million AEOS energy pulls? Because I've been playing for 1,000,000 days. You get one per day, and I've been playing for exactly 1,000,000 days. It's draft. It's always first game of the day is draft. My conspiracy theory is still true. Okay, Buzz is banned. For me, the Pokemon are Buzz, Miraidon, Leafeon that I want banned. Oh, Leafeon, they're banning the Leafeon. Oh, I get to ban anything I want then. Anyone have a request banned in the draft to ban Duraludon? This guy wants Gengar banned. Anyone else? Any requests? Yeah, Espeon could have been a good ban. I banned Umbreon. You guys didn't have any good requests. I just banned stuff that's annoying. Crustle would have been a good ban. I wasn't looking for good suggestions, I was looking for bad suggestions, like Duraludon. And then I would have banned it, and then it would have been like, haha, funny. But then, you know, we didn't really do that. So, next time. Oh my god, we're picking Miraidon. Comfy ban broken. Honestly, Comfy ban, because the enemy team's a trio queue, does seem quite optimal, actually. I'm hiding. I'm hiding my pick. We have a Mewtwo and a Goodra. I'm last pick, and we need a support. In this time of need, you know what we pick? Gengar. No, I'm kidding. I could play Blissey. Blissey ult the Pro ult target. Or we could just Eld. We could play Eld with Buddy Barrier. That seems more fun, actually. Or... I literally just resetted my cache. What do you mean I can't change my items? Guys, how bugged this draft? Buddy barrierization? Sounds broken. No Scarf? I'd rather play Muscle Band. How scuffed is draft? We're good, we're good. We unscuffed it. We're unscuffed. Lane Zoro is wild. It's not that wild, right? As long as the Zoro can get 5, it's not that big of a deal. True, you could go for Zacian, you can go Metal Claw, and then dodge stuff for your teammates. It's basically a support. Metal Claw, the Mew boosted, it goes nowhere. Whoa. Metal Claw, the Spirit Shackles. When should you use Buddy over Resonant Guard? I feel like if you're fighting a lot in your lane, Resonant Guard is good. And if they have something on their team that's like a really big ult for you to be able to get a Buddy Barrier on your teammate, or if you have a good teammate to Buddy Barrier, I think Buddy Barrier is good. And if both of the situations, then just make a choice. It can't, like, either choice won't be bad. It's really just what you want to do at that point. But this game they have slow bro, so it's like a good idea to just have Buddy Barrier. Keep my team alive through the slow bro ult, ideally. Rhydon does a weird amount of damage. Got that. I'm gonna have to do this. Charge his gun already. Got it. Why anti-heal doesn't work on Slowbro? I think because Slowbro's thing is countered as him exchanging his passive health bar with real HP. I think that's the idea. Go cover my Zoroark. Thought he would come left. Okay, we're gaming on him. Ooh, that's close. I don't have a good last hit on the farm, so I'm just not gonna hit it. I think it's a good con guard game. I think con guard Inteleon's damage just really telegraphed. That's that one. Con guard's never bad though. My guy alive. I don't even care if we break here. Guys popping off top. The doll. Two. Bombs on me. He ejected. I'm right on ulted, kind of for fun. I'm alive. That Meowth ulted a lot of damn. Body block the snipe. It's okay. Making sure my Zora doesn't get sniped and I die instead is definitely good. Probably the flower trick did that much, but he didn't have the hit on me. This is just fully stacked, maybe. Rhydon's in there. You can get him the buddy and the ult. I mean, it's literally just buddy barrier diff right there, right? Missed. Killing my team. Hoopa's coming from above. Knife is really far. Our Gooch is actually just in their face. They can't do anything about him. Oh my god. We all got our scores. Going on the meow by accident. Oh, just came up. They're dead. Trio Q is so cringe. I mean, they're also a Trio Q playing 3 good Pokemon, right? It's not like my Trio, I mean, I guess my Trio Q has the EXs, but it's not like Inteleon, Meow, Luke are bad. And it's draft. Like, I don't even care at this point. In draft, I mean, it is cringe. We're having the cringe trio with the EXs, I guess, but I don't know. Sure hope nobody here plays Trio Q. You just hit this. Three. Is trio plus double solo or double solo, double doing a duo solo? I mean, this is trio for sure, I think. Could be double duo, maybe, actually. My team could be double duo. That snipe hits me. I'm looking out for the pro ults. We're healing up in the back. I'm planning on just jumped over. I probably don't even ult. That snipe hits me. Didn't even need my ult for it. Birds are at array, yeah. Sometimes they like to do that, you know? Oh my god. Whenever you trio Q, you get attack compies that think they are turrets. I mean, you get to choose who you trio Q with. What do you mean? Like, are your friends trolling you playing attack compy, or? Like, how does it happen more than once is what I'm saying. Oh, the solo queue randoms? I mean, who cares? You're the trio queue. You don't need, when you trio queue, you don't need solo queue players to win the game. You don't need them. Just be the better trio queue. Where did my ears go? They're gone. I don't have ears. Green screened. My ears are there. Don't worry. Stop playing with them, Riot. Okay. I'm not making this game. We're not making this game. We're doing the tier list. That's what we signed up here for. We can leave the music on though. Just turn it down a little. Give me 1 second. I'm just setting it up. What kind of car do I drive? I don't have a car. Your mom. We're taking notes? Yeah, get your notebooks out. How should we start this? All right, nice. Everything's working. Everything's working. We're looking good. Will this be somewhere on YouTube? Yeah, I'll upload this on YouTube probably tomorrow or the day after. So, the music's distracting. We're turning it off. We're going to be going through what my take on the AEOS Cup meta is going to be, as well as give you guys a tier list. And for those of you guys that are a little bit newer to competitive, maybe you haven't been following it this much this year, we're going to go over just a very brief explanation on how draft works as well. If you haven't had a draft game, or maybe you need a draft explanation. So starting with draft, each team gets 2 bans. The team that's going to be first picking, which is going to be the team on the left side, is going to be given the first ban of the game as well. And we'll talk about what I think the bans are going to look like. For now, we'll just take a generically strong Pokemon, maybe like Hoopa. And the second pick side is always going to be banning what they think the strongest Pokemon in the game are, generally. And that's kind of how it is going in this meta. So for now, they might be banning Buzzwole. It goes back to the first pick side to be able to do their ban. Maybe we'll say ban Crustle. And then second pick, they get the final ban of the game. They don't want to give up something like Leafeon, so maybe they'll go ahead and ban out Leafeon. Right, so now first pick gets their 1 pick. And then you go 1, 2, 3 on the other side, another 1, another 2, 3, another 2, 3, and then 1. That should finish it off on their side. So 1, 2, 3, their 2, 3, or their 1, 2, then 3, 4, 4, 5, and then 5. I don't know why that was so hard to explain. Okay. So, you know, they might pick Espeon, and then from here, the draft will just go back and forth. But for you guys to be able to understand what Pokemon, at least I think, are going to be really strong, and we're going to put together a tier list live on stream. You might be watching this in the future in YouTube. That's cool too. And I'll go through what the tiers represent here as well. So the S plus tier, I'm just going to go ahead and put the Pokemon in there that you would have seen me put in the draft as well. This would be Buzzwole and Leafeon. I think Leafeon got deleted. I can't find it. How are these Pokemon sorted? Does anyone see Leafeon? Should it not be beside Glaceon? Oh, there it is. I don't know why it's in... I wonder what order this is supposed to be in. Okay. This is by when the Pokemon were released. Okay. I guess they get added subsequently. Okay. Good to know. So the S plus tier, this is going to be the tier that I think is bans, like what second pick is generally going to be banning. These are the best Pokemon in the game. The way the meta kind of works right now is Leafeon is really good, but if it's Leafeon into Buzzwole, it's not as good. So you kind of can't give up Buzzwole, because if you do and get Leafeon in exchange, Leafeon kind of gets countered by Buzzwole. So when you're a second pick, you're just banning these two Pokemon out. So when you watch AEOS Cup, which is going to be in person in London on next weekend, so the weekend of April, what would it be, April 3rd and 4th, I think? No, April 9th and 10th is when AEOS Cup should be. Next weekend, basically. When you're watching it and you see teams from second pick not ban Buzzwole or Leafeon, you can kind of expect that something weird is going to be happening. Either they're letting them through intentionally and they have a way to counter it, or maybe they're not up to speed on the meta, which I doubt is going to happen for those teams. So expect these two to be banned for sure. And then, all right, so that's the S plus tier. The S tier, I think this will comprise most of your first round picks and sets of picks. So it might be the first pick Pokemon. Some of these will be banned by the first pick side. April 6th and 7th. Okay, cool. Some of these Pokemon might make it through the draft, but generally these are the really strong Pokemon and make up a majority of the team compositions in the S tier. In the A tier, these are Pokemon that might be reserved for more counter picks. In their counter pick state, they might be really, really strong, and almost like S or S plus tier level Pokemon in those spots. But because they have a lot of weaknesses that can be exploited, they can't be picked higher in the draft, and as a result, they're lower in the tiers, right? And we'll get to it when we get to the A tier. But Slowbro will probably be a really good example of an A tier Pokemon, a Pokemon that's generically really, really, really strong in a lot of situations, but can also get exploited in a lot of different ways, making it not the best option, but really good in certain situations. The B tier, just Pokemon that are generally weaker than the A tier mons. They might have similar kind of strengths, where in the counter pick situation, you can expect to have really good situations with them, but generically they might not be as good. C tier, just moving down the list, you know, maybe a more niche Pokemon that might only be reserved for people that are really specialists on them on, or they serve like a very typical or very specific kind of strategy, you know? The next tier would be the D tier. These are Pokemon that are pretty weak, but maybe not completely unplayable. Still considered quite weak, usually a better option. And the F tier, probably close to unplayable Pokemon. Teams are either trolling or, you know, there's some new technology that they might be investing in that the F tier might represent. But cool, let's start up with the S tier of Pokemon here. I alluded to it when we were looking at the draft really quickly, but I think Hoopa, probably one of the best Pokemon in the game. It goes through phases. It goes through own meta games where Hoopa is considered to be regarded really high. Sometimes it goes down. We might see a lot of Hoopa at EUIC. There's a chance that maybe teams might forego it. They might be too afraid to rely simply on like the macro advantage that Hoopa gets you and opt to play something a little bit safer like Blissey or Clef or Eld. But Hoopa as it stands is the best support in the game to win you the early game. It's the only support that has a stun from a ranged position. Immediately at level 4, you have the ability to reset your team and have the ability to move up and down the map really, really quickly. It's the only support in the game that can reliably invade the enemy team and win against a lot of different Pokemon. For example, if the other team has a weak early game jungler, I'm talking things like Urshifu, Candle, Gardevoir, Venusaur, right? All these Pokemon are really susceptible to being level 1 invaded by the Hoopa, which is something you will see a good amount of. On top of that, Hoopa's Unite move is really, really powerful for the end game. If you ever have a point lead, it's really easy to to stay further ahead, as you can have more teammates backcapping than the other team and then pull them back in with the Hoopa Rings Unbound. Or if you're losing, you get to make a similar play, right? Hoopa just has too much versatility and offers a lot to teams. And I think the higher and higher the level of competition goes, the more and more Hoopa we'll see. But Hoopa does have a weakness in the late game where if you weren't able to capitalize on its strengths and you ended up falling behind, Hoopa is a support that lacks defensive capabilities, right? Blissey, Clefable, they have direct heals or shields or whatever it might be. Hoopa's portal takes some time to reset their team. So there's a bit of a weakness that can be exploited there, right? And a Pokemon that excels at dominating the early game that we've seen really rise up into the meta is Espeon, right? So Espeon's one of the things is it is really hard to invade level 1, right? Because its Swift is a really solid secure. The Hoopa can't really do anything about that. And then Espeon only needs to take 1 buff to be able to make it out of the early game.
Well,
Scripted.
I just found
Thank you
out
for the
that
tier
if
3
you have
sub.
an Amazon account, you get a free subscription to a channel of your choice. I choose you.
Well, that's not an Amazon Prime, but that's a T3 subscription. Thank you so much. But yeah, so we're talking about Espeon. Espeon only needs 1 buff in the early game to come online. So what you'll see oftentimes happen in a lot of these tournament games or competitive games is the Espeon is going to take out the Xatu and then go directly to the red buff, right? Use that red buff to go into the top path, and then they can apply pressure simply at level 4 with stored power, right? Instead of them clearing the entire jungle and being late to be able to get to a lane, they'll get there really early. That also allows them to share the rest of the experience in the jungle with a teammate. And Espeon's probably the strongest character, maybe after Leafeon, that can do this level 4 gank, you know, quote unquote level 4 gank. So, and then throughout the game, Espeon, stored power, Psybeam provides a lot of damage. Psybeam's a reliable secure on objectives. Espeon's Unite move is really good in team fights to help set up engages for the rest of your team. So it kind of does play into Hoopa in an interesting way where both teams want to really win the early game. And generally, you'll see the teams that win the early game are going to be the ones that can keep their lead. And both of these Pokemon excel at that. And for that reason, they're both S tier. After Hoopa and after Espeon, I would say some of the defenders come to mind that are really, really strong. Crustle being the one I think that's risen to prominence the most. And that's Mamoswine that I put up there. That's got to be racist, right? If you confuse Crustle and Mamoswine. So Crustle, right? Everyone's always saying, whoa, Crustle came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, Crustle's OP. What even happened, right? The thing is Crustle's always been strong, right? And 2 things have led to Crustle becoming much more popular. Technically 3. It did receive some buffs last year. I think it got buffs to Sturdy. It got buffs to Rock Tomb throughout the year. X's or cooldown got lowered. And the only nerfs it's gotten recently are to damage, which is, you know, not enough to be able to nerf this Pokemon from the spot it's in. But other than that, 2 main things have happened. 1, all the other defenders around it have been nerfed. Umbreon's been nerfed. Trevenant's been nerfed. Lapras, which was really popular earlier, got nerfed. And a lot of the strong defenders getting nerfed around it's naturally going to mean next one is going to shine. But the real reason why Crustle is so good right now is the metagame revolves around evolutions, right? Evolutions evolve at level 4, so the earlier your tank can be online, the better. And Crustle's strong at level 1 with Rock Slide. So you immediately don't have to waste any time in scaling as Crustle. And you also help counter the enemy evolutions, right? If we look at the evolutions that are popular outside of Leafeon, it's Espeon, Sylveon, and Glaceon. All 3 of these Pokemon in their popular builds don't run any mobility moves, right? They might have an eject as their battle item, but stored power Psybeam, there's no mobility. There's, you know, you can speed yourself up, but you have no hops to be able to jump over walls. Icicle Spears Glaceon, you're not running Icy Wind, so you have no mobility there. And Sylveon typically goes Hyper Voice, so again, no mobility there. Crustle's Rock Tomb locks down the EVs, sets up ganks for the rest of the team. So it's really good into that. It's a solid counter into Slowbro, which was a tank that was really popular for a while. And it just lacks a lot of bad matchups. You know, one of the quote unquote bad matchups for a while was Umbreon, because Umbreon could use Umbreon's Unite move to steal away the big Crustle shield in the late game, and that would leave Crustle really vulnerable. But Umbreon's been nerfed a lot. Teams aren't prioritizing Umbreon as much. So yeah, Crustle honestly like goes hand to hand with the rest of these Pokemon. Could be the best Pokemon in the tier. Realistically, it's probably maybe something like this. But yeah, all of these Pokemon are Giga broken. The last one, and I debate if this should be an S tier Pokemon or not, or it should be really high A, but I do think it's S tier, is Blastoise. When we're talking about defenders that got nerfed, Blastoise is one of the only ones that kind of out of nowhere got buffed. So Blastoise used to evolve at level 9, right, which made playing defender Blastoise a little bit rough. Defenders in their supportive defender kind of role don't get level 9 until much later in the game, and that meant that Blastoise was lacking a lot in stats. Ever since Blastoise got the evolution to level 7, on top of that, it's been a really popular pick as a top lane Pokemon, more like an all-rounder role, and it just helps counter other melees, helps sets up different fights for your team. It does a lot of damage. It's just a solid Pokemon. You can never really go wrong with having Blastoise on your team. And, you know, like Crustle, it dominates the game in the early game as a stun at the start. It scales really well throughout the game, good team fight. And there's not a lot of Pokemon that are built like Blastoise. I will say it has dropped a little bit in priority, only because things like Crustle and Espeon are much more popular now. But you'll still see teams pick this on like their, you know, if Espeon and Hoopa aren't up, because they got banned or first picked, and maybe Crustle was one of the bans, I think Blastoise is probably going to be the typical Pokemon you'll see out of the draft at that point. And I think that would close out the S tier for me. I think S and S plus, like these are all the Pokemon we'll see in the first set of bans, or first set of picks, right? And if we're going back to our draft here, you know, that's kind of what we have lined up. So we first pick would have banned Hoopa, Leafeon, or Hoopa and then Buzzwole and then Crustle and then Leafeon, leaving, you know, if we look at this, the only Pokemons that are left out of that are Espeon and Blastoise. Maybe in our pretend draft they go Espeon. The other team, you know, subsequently in this side might pick Blastoise. And then from here on, right, they have another pick. From the rest of the draft, it's mostly going to result in preferences that the team has of the Pokemon that we'll talk about in the A tier. Generally, you'll see teams look to pick things that can hide what they're playing, right? Or might take advantage of what the other team is banned. So in this case, you know, Hoopa's banned, so we might see an Eldegoss pick, right? And then teams on this side, they may look to respond with just picking their supporter now, just so that they can hide the rest of their draft, right? Maybe they might pick Blissey or Clefable. They might look to pick their defender at this point. You know, maybe they want to go with Trevenant, right? And the rest of the draft from here is generally going to play out based on team preferences and maybe things that they like to play. And that's going to be comprised with a lot of the Pokemon that we see here in the A tier, right? And some of the ones I already talked about, I brought up Trevenant. This Pokemon in the most recent balance patch kind of had an interesting arc where it got nerfed on its defender kind of build, where Woodhammer got a longer cooldown, but then we saw it get buffs to both Curse and Pain Split, or yeah, I think both to Curse and Pain Split, which meant that now Tree not only can play very valuably in the bottom lane as a typical defender, but its role in the top path, where you can play it as a top lane Pokemon, kind of like Blastoise, has also been improved. I think you could, by all metrics, put this in the S tier along Blastoise. I think for some teams, they might see Blastoise and Tree as the same kind of priority. But the thing is I think Blastoise is going to be picked a lot more often than Tree, and I think leaving them in separate tiers is an important distinction to make. So yeah, all around really good. If there's only one knock on Tree, right, is that, well, as a Phantump, you are really tanky and you can go toe-to-toe with auto attacks with a lot of Pokemon, you do require a level 5 evolution, right? As opposed to Crustle, who comes online at level 4. And Blastoise, who does need level 5, does, you know, as a Squirtle, still have Water Gun. So that, for that reason and that reason alone, Tree is like just a little bit lower in priority. Outside of that, very phenomenal Pokemon. Unite move is really good to be able to set up ganks for your team. Depending on which build you go, you can be really disruptive or you can do a lot of damage, maybe a combination of both. You make it so that the evolutions that typically are really popular that do a lot of damage to you, like Sylveon, Espeon, and Glaceon, Pain Split can help nullify a lot of their effectiveness. So I would say it's, you know, it's definitely up there in the S tier or in the A tier. Beside Trevenant, a Pokemon that you'll often see together in the path, with Trevenant, is Inteleon, right? This Pokemon definitely at its time was an S tier mon, but since then, you know, it's been nerfed a little bit, and it's been nerfed, you know, twice now actually, and teams have also gotten much better at playing around Inteleon. One of the things about Inteleon is that its Snipe Shot can be body blocked, as opposed to Decidueye Spirit Shackle that just goes straight through people. So when it comes to, you know, securing objectives where your team might not have like all the control in terms of positioning, Inteleon Snipe Shot can oftentimes just get body blocked. Tanks in the team fight will be able to absorb Snipe Shots for their ranged squishies, which can kind of nullify the damage. But that being said, you know, tanks still really get chunked by Inteleon Snipe Shot. Its basic attacks are really strong. Its laning is really good. It has a lot of mobility. So it is absolutely a really, really, really strong Pokemon and definitely sits really high in the A tier. But I'd say it's considerably weaker than some of the S tier Pokemon. The next, and I'll put these as a pair, not because they're extremely similar, but they're both evolutions that are really, really strong. We can talk about Glaceon first. This Pokemon got some much needed nerfs as well in the last patch. Doesn't mean that it's not still a really, really strong Pokemon. But those nerfs make its late game just a tad bit weaker. And on top of that, I think teams have just generally been able to get a little bit better playing around Glaceon in terms of, again, body blocking those Icicle Spears, as well as Glaceon, unlike the other evolutions, actually does need level 6. You know, Solar Blade on Leafeon, Stored Power on Espeon, and Hyper Voice on Glaceon are all really, really strong power spikes, but Icicle Spear Glaceon isn't really online until you get Ice Shard, right? And for that reason, it does kind of fall down in priority. So I will put that a little bit lower. And then Sylveon, like I said, with Espeon, you get the ability to come out level 4. You're immediately strong with that Hyper Voice. In a way, you can almost nullify Espeon's power level by Sylveon matching the Espeon. So think about this in the tournament. What you're going to be seeing a lot of is the teams might have Espeon on one side, Sylveon on one side. Both of them on opposite sides of the map are going to be taking each red buff and then going into the top path, supporting their two Pokemon that are in that top path and converging against each other. And, you know, we'll see different variations of those ganks go on. Doesn't mean necessarily it has to happen that way, but Sylveon does help nullify a little bit of Espeon's early game pressure. So that would be the case there. Also, just to get it out of the way right now, I know there might be some confusion, but EX Pokemon in tournament play are not allowed. I think that they should be allowed. I think that they should just make everyone play against them, even in competitive. But that's what the rules of the tournament are. No EX is allowed. So Miraidon and stuff, the teams don't need to ban them out. Okay, cool. So we talked a little bit about the evolutions and some attackers, and Hoopa being one of the S tier supporters, right? That doesn't mean that Eldegoss isn't pretty much up there as well, right? Arguably, Eldegoss could even be seen as an S tier Pokemon, pretty much because if Hoopa is banned out, then Eldegoss suddenly becomes that much better, right? What it does is in the top path, both of these supports are the only supports that are both ranged and can deal significant amount of damage to apply pressure. It makes it so the enemy top paths aren't able to stack. It means that your team that might be stacking attack weight or special attack specs can actually get their stacks off because you can apply that pressure. Well, as Eldegoss, you don't get the power of invading that Hoopa does. You have the defensive prominence in the late game with Eldegoss's Unite move. You can run Buddy Barrier to help shield your team with that as well. So yeah, I think I'm going to put Eldegoss in the S tier. Initially, I had it in the A tier, but the more I think about it, I think teams are going to be looking to ban Hoopa a lot, and that immediately makes Eldegoss like a top tier pick. And I don't think Eldegoss really has that many weaknesses either. So I will leave it in the S tier. Cool. Let's round out the A tier. And we're going to go with some speedsters now, or a speedster at least, in Meowscarada. If Leafeon didn't exist, Meowscarada, I think, would be the best speedster in the game. And I still think it's a solid Pokemon. You want to be focusing on the Flower Trick double team moveset. I think the other moveset, Trailblaze Night Slash, is probably more of a B tier build. But that Flower Trick double team moveset gives, as a speedster, it gives you a lot of control with vision around the team, around the map with double team. Within team fights, you can have some poke, constantly send those double team targets towards the enemy. In 1v1 situations, you're really elusive and very hard to take down, and you do a lot of damage in a burst. And then the two biggest things on Meowscarada are its passive, right? Giving it that source of invincibility and invisibility, damage amplification, and Omnivamp, right? So you typically in the end game, what you're going to see is Meowscaradas will get low. They'll use their Unite move, which they'll be invincible and then invisible afterwards in their Unite move. Healing all the damage that they're doing, healing all the damage you're taking by outputting a huge amount of damage, right? And that eject button, being able to reposition that Unite move, giving you even more flexibility with it, makes it so good. So I think we'll see a lot of Meows. I think we'll see a lot of Meows probably with Energy Amp as well. But Pokemon like Leafeon and these speedsters, the other speedster being Scyther, which we'll also definitely be seeing with Energy Amp, I think. Scyther's whole thing is that it's a reset speedster, right? So kind of like Meowscarada's Trailblaze build, but its resets it can really easily achieve via its Unite move, right? So Scyther is all about their Unite move. They do a lot of burst damage. Every time their Unite move is up, they're hoping to at least get one, if not two knockouts throughout the duration of that Unite. In the early game, its auto attacks and basic attacks do a lot of damage, has a lot of burst. And something that isn't being talked about a lot, because Scissor's been quite a bit of a meme for a while, but Scyther does give you the flexibility to be able to swap into Scissor halfway through the draft. So if you pick Scyther really early on and the enemy team ends up going like a bunch of melee Pokemon like Blaziken, maybe Trevenant, like a lot of tanky, really bulky Pokemon, there is a world where we'll see Scissor. I don't think Scissor sits with Scyther in the A tier. It'll probably be somewhere in the B tier, and we'll talk about it when we get down there. But Scissor is really strong as well in the right situations. And for that reason, Scyther also gains some value. Cool. So I think other than that, in the A tier, I probably have to give it to Gyarados and Blaziken. These are top lane Pokemon that you'll see be used a lot when Pokemon like Buzzwole and Blastoise are banned out, right? Buzz and Blast are two Pokemon that deal a lot of damage and have a lot of crowd control, and it makes melee Pokemon a lot harder to be effective on, because when you go in, you're just going to be tossed around in and about, right? But Buzz is likely going to be banned a lot. Blastoise is going to be picked away earlier or also banned, right? And then at that point, Blaziken and Gyarados shoot up in value. Even into Blastoise, they're playable. But both of these Pokemon kind of similar in that their early game is a little bit weak. In Gyarados' case, the early game is weak in a unique way where you do have the opportunity to trade with people, because Splash actually gives you a surprising amount of mobility. But obviously you are still a carp. And Torchic in the early game, similar kind of idea. You might not be able to trade very often, but you can snag some last hits with your aerial ace and whatnot. Both of these Pokemon are going to be looking to get stacked in the early game and play more towards a stronger mid game. So you might see them skip the first objective of the map in efforts to just get their attack weight stacks on the top side of the map. Whatever it might be, I think they're really, really good all-rounders. Gyarados with Energy Amp, we'll see a lot of. Gyarados's Unite move actually only starts the Energy Amp buff after the Gyarados comes out of the ground. So that means that Gyarados can charge up a really long Unite move and save that Energy Amp damage amplification for right as soon as they pop out, you know, do their Dragon Breath bounce combo, and that's pretty much one-shotting any Pokemon in the game. And then, yeah, Blaziken might not have its actual Unite move, but it can win a lot of 1v1s. It's really, really strong once it gets online. And not having a Unite move and having your move swap instead means that in smaller skirmishes, when you're in 1v1s and 2v2s, you will really shine because people might not be ready to use their Unite move, or they might not have it. And then when it comes to objectives with Overheat, you have the ability to have a really solid secure. Kind of back in the day, we would see Power Up Punch, Wicked Blow as like these charge up melee all-rounder secures, and Overheat's kind of taken that spot. Not as reliable as maybe Wicked Blow was in terms of damage output, but still up there. Cool. I think that rounds out the S tier. Maybe I would have it something like this if I were to order them. And then, you know, as we move through the draft, you know, remember, teams are going back and forth to be able to set their picks. You know, some of their picks might involve here some specialties that they have. They might involve, you know, just generically good at like S tier or A tier Pokemon. And, you know, last pick is going to be reserved a lot of times for those counter picks, right? So for the second pick side, this is where in the draft they have to make the decision, do we want Blastoise as our defender or in the top path, or are we not ready to show it yet? You know, maybe in this case they're not going to show it. They want to make sure that they lock down like one of the speedsters, right? Maybe they really want Meowscarada. Their guy's been practicing a lot of it. And they don't want to show what their Blastoise is doing yet, maybe they just want to have an evolution to help match against the Espeon like we talked about. So they might opt to go something like Sylveon, right? And this might be what their draft looks like at this point. And as the first pick side is looking to round out their draft, right, they want to fill it out with strong Pokemon, obviously, but maybe some counter picks, maybe some situationally better Pokemon, maybe some Pokemon that they're more comfortable with, right? And a lot of the time, these are going to come from the B tier Pokemon, or maybe some of the A tier ones as well. But to start out the B tier, a Pokemon that we already had in that pretend draft is Blissey, right? This Pokemon, solid support, right? Arguably could be A tier. You know, I don't think it really matters which tier you put in, because you're going to see a lot of Blissey. The reason I put it in the B tier, though, however, is that a lot of the metagame right now is revolved around there being a range support in the top path to allow for a stronger early game, because they have the ability to do some damage and protect against invades or invade. So that for that reason, I think Blissey does come down a little bit. But other than that, it's solid, really good support, healing output. Its Unite move, one of the best pocket Unites in the game. And it's, you know, Unite move can be used as a secure on objectives as well, whether you want to use Egg Bomb or Unite move. Your Bliss Assistant, Blissey's solid. I talked about Slowbro earlier, and I might have said A tier for Slowbro, but what I wanted to say is that Slowbro sits at the top of the B tier, right? If we look at Crustle and Blastoise as like the premier defender options, and Tree as like, you know, that kind of intermediary where it's really good, maybe it just lacks a little bit, Slowbro, I think, dominates the B tier category as a tank, right? In the right setup, if you're playing against a lot of melee Pokemon or some melees, some speedsters, Slowbro can be really, really strong, right? And if we go back to our draft earlier here, where the team has selected Trevenant and they know they're playing into a Meowscarada, right? This might be the time where they want to lock down something like the Slowbro. you know, if that's what they wanted to do, right? They have the flexibility to send Tree to the top lane, right? And now Slowbro can be their defender. So it's not to say that Slowbro's not going to be a good Pokemon this game, right? It might struggle a little into Sylveon, but it'll give the good lockdown. But the reason why it's not higher in the tiers is because as a defender, it doesn't have the flexibility Blastoise and Trevenant have, in that they can play multiple roles, right? So in draft, you kind of have like this ace in your hand, like a joker almost, that you can swap to either side, depending on how the draft is flowing out. And then Crustle is just, you know, might not have the flexibility the other two have, but it makes up for it in its dominance, right? So that's why Slowbro is a little bit lower rated. If you do end up going against two mages like Gardevoir and Sylveon, or Gardevoir and Espeon, or Espeon, you know, Inteleon, whatever it might be, two special attack long range Pokemon, Slowbro has a tough time catching things out. If you're into Rock Tomb Crustle, the Slowbro lacks mobility, so you'll get stuck in the Rock Tomb, and then you'll just get wailed down by the mages. So it definitely has counterplay. The reason why it might feel really bad or really broken in ladder games is because ladder games that don't have draft, you can't account for the other team having Slowbro, right? So if you load into the game as Scyther Absol or Scyther Meowscarada, right? Those might be good Pokemon, higher rated than Slowbro, but Slowbro will be able to counter them. Vice versa, if you load into the game against like Espeon Glaceon, Slowbro suddenly loses a lot of its value. So, you know, definitely one to explain there, because I know it can be a little confusing. People always are like, Slowbro's so broken, like why, well, how could you rate it that low, right? But it definitely does come at a cost, right? And talking about defenders is Umbreon. Another one is Umbreon. I remember for a while this Pokemon was just the best Pokemon in the game, right? It sat right up there. You'd always see it picked or banned. Foul Play and Snarl have had their stints at being broken. Its Unite move has been really, really strong. It's been really tanky. And it's still a solid Pokemon. But lately, because of the mean look nerfs, it does make it so that Umbreon has a tough time catching out the really ultra mobile Pokemon, unless it's playing really, really defensively. And those Pokemon move around the map so quickly that it's hard for the Umbreon to actually keep up with them and lock them down with that mean look. And when finally you are able to cast that mean look on the Dodrio, on the Zoroark, on the Scyther, or whatever it might be, they might have just been holding their full heal the whole time. And if your mean look gets full healed after you couldn't cast it for like 10 seconds, definitely this Pokemon struggles. Its strong suit is probably mean looking on the enemy tanks, and your team just tries to wail down the tanks and knock them out instead. But I think Crustle fulfills that role just as well, if not extremely better. So a solid Pokemon. It's just there's so many other defenders around it. Umbreon definitely has to fall a little bit in priority because of that. Speaking of Pokemon that have fallen in priority is Clefable. I think this is where we look back and we're like, maybe the Clefable Moonlight nerfs that we got were healthy for the overall player base, because Clefable was getting out of hand, and 6-stacked Clefable is a problem for sure. So I think the nerfs make sense. Doesn't mean the Pokemon's unplayable, but in this supporter meta where you have a lot of range supporters in the top side of the map and Blissey's still an adequate option, Clef just kind of is an awkward spot. Gravity still counters some Pokemon really well, but we'll see Buzzwole banned a lot of the time. It's not enough to just trade Clefable for Buzzwole, because Buzz is still really strong. It's decent against Scyther. Pokemon that maybe we haven't talked about, like Zoroark, it's really good into. So if those Pokemon get picked higher in the draft, maybe we could see Clefable be picked to counter them. But generally, teams are going to wait to pick their counterable Pokemon when the other team has shown their hand a little bit. So Clefable does drop a little in priority. But that being said, there was this composition that was really strong. That was like Inteleon, Glaceon, Clefable with two tanks. And you would just run at the other team with a bunch of damage, Clef healing them all the way. And it was like this death ball kind of comp. All those Pokemon have been nerfed, but we could still see this Pokemon be picked in that kind of strategy. It's just their other support options will be a little bit better. In terms of other Pokemon in this tier, I think Dodrio, definitely a really, really strong speedster, and in some cases, it will be even higher in priority for certain teams. The reason why Dodrio is going to be so good is EUIC is going to be an in-person event, and when you're playing with no delay, you really get to take advantage of all the mobility that Dodrio has, whether you're using your boosted auto that's charged up with your sprint gauge to dodge moves, even some unite moves. You can activate your full heal just that much quicker, and just having that smoother gameplay experience will mean that Pokemon like Dodrio, like Zoroark, and as a result, a combination of those Comfy will definitely be solid picks. I think we'll see teams opt for this type of strategy oftentimes, and it'll look like it's S tier because it'll feel like it's S tier, right? With either Dodrio Comfy or Zoro Comfy. But because of the way the draft goes out, I think it might be tough for teams to be able to lock this down without the other team being able to respond with things like Slowbro. I talked about Blissey earlier. I think it's gonna get picked as if it's an A tier Pokemon, but because the ranged Pokemon kind of dominate the top side of the map, and those are the Pokemon that are really popular in the support role, I wanted to put a gap in between them. Honestly, it could be A tier, it could be at the top of the B. It's around the same, right? This would be fine. I think this is fine. Sounds good. In terms of the rest of the Pokemon, I think some attackers probably deserve some love at this point. And a lot of Pokemon will sit in the B tier. Two of the ones that are kind of similar, maybe even three, we could just group them all together. That will just be matchup dependent and player preference dependent, are Candle, Gardevoir, and Delphox. So with these Pokemon, right, they all in the early game are kind of weak and vulnerable. So if you put them in the jungle, they could be invaded. If you put them in the raw in the paths, they might struggle as well. So they require some level of help from your team, but that's not that hard to achieve nowadays, right? You give them an evolution, right? Like a level 4 ganker. So maybe you have a Glaceon or an Espeon or a Sylveon on your team. They take the red buff, go to top, right? And then the Candle, Gardevoir, Delphox, you'll often see them start the game jungle splitting, taking the blue buff, and then going down into the paths, right? So I think all three of these are very similar in nature. Not to say that they're all interchangeable per se, but I think they kind of sit in the similar kind of value. Lane Boy, thank you for the $5 super chat. In solo, duo, trio ladder, how good is stacking Eld as a third item with muscle and XP share? For ladder games, stacking Eld is fine. I think teams will allow you to get away with stacking, and if you want to do it, I think it's a good way to scale. In more competitive games, especially in a tournament like AEOS Cup, where everyone's going to be on the top of the game and they're going to be really sharp, Eldegoss just isn't going to have the opportunity to get a lot of stacks. And it has really good item options like Resonant Guard and Buddy Barrier that already help keep your team alive without the investment of you having to be selfish on the Pokemon. So for solo, duo, trio, go for it. For competitive games, I think you probably won't see it much. Cool. So these three attackers, I think the other thing I wanted to mention is regions like Brazil, Latin America, North and South, see Candle as like a tier above some of the other Pokemon. I think maybe it's a result of how their metagames developed. Maybe their players are better at them. Maybe truly it is just a better Pokemon and the rest of the world hasn't used it as much as they have. But I think we'll see these three Pokemon in their builds, whether it's Fire Spin, Delphox. Honestly, most of all the guard builds could work as long as you're not doubled up on like Moonblast Future Sight. And then Candle, we could see all the builds be played as well. And there's a lot of Pokemon I think that could sit in the S tier though, right? I think Venusaur is probably in a similar case, right? A little bit weaker in the early game, but it has that Solar Beam, which is a better secure compared to the other ones, more burst from its Unite, but it's less control oriented, right? Where these three Pokemon can offer a level of control that Venusaur won't. But we'll see some Venusaur gameplay. Certainly, I think it's a solid Pokemon. And definitely like really strong into things like Glaceon and Espeon if your team is doing well and you can one-shot them even into Inteleon. And if your team's the one that's losing and you've dropped some pads down, then Venusaur might be a little bit a little weaker as well. And I think Mew, probably similar, right? Idea. Mew is a little bit more of a flexible Pokemon, and I think Mew finally has found its role as like the jack of all trades, but maybe not maybe master of none. You know, it's got Solar Beam and it has a long range nuke, but its Solar Beam is not as good as Venusaur's Solar Beam, right? It has mobility and it has a lot of good utility, but for that it makes up it has its weaknesses where it's really slow at farming. It's not good without levels. It's hard to get levels on this Pokemon, and it has awkward phases in the game. So still really strong. We'll see teams play Mew for sure. A lot of teams might have players that are just more comfortable on it, but it is kind of lower. It is kind of lower than where it used to be at some point. Let's see. Let's talk about some all-rounders that we might get to see. I think Lucario, when a lot of these other Pokemon are pulled out of the pool and we don't see them as much, Lucario will definitely go up. Maybe even Garchomp more so, actually. When we start to see Buzz and Blast out of the pool, Pokemon that rely on not getting just perma CC'd comboed like Garchomp definitely go much higher up in value. And I think in some cases Garchomp might even be considered an A tier Pokemon. I could see the argument of Garchomp being higher up just because when Buzz and Blast are out of the pool, it's just that much better. It also can maybe be seen as a counter pick to Gyarados in the early game, especially if you give Garchomp a Comfey. It has a lot of good matchups. Things like being able to Dragon Rush the Altaria to your side, kind of like what Blaziken can do. Being really, really tanky, having your Unite move that can make you really tanky is really solid as well. But by the same vein, right, there's Pokemon like Urshifu who in the right situations can be played. I think teams might often try to use this as a counter pick to speedsters in the game to have a guaranteed lockdown. You might see teams that want to be able to flip objectives or be good at defending flips, go for Urshifu. So I don't think Urshifu will be something we'll see necessarily earlier in the tournament unless teams are trying to flip. But as the tournament goes later on, if there's teams that are changing up their playstyle, I think one of the first Pokemon we see people bring out is Urshifu. Urshifu's Unite move, right, gives you that guaranteed lockdown in the ult that can bypass full heal. In a way, right, Urshi's ult can be countered by full heal, but an ult that can't be countered by full heal necessarily is Mimikyu. If you've been watching me like cover tournaments over the last month or so, you would know that I'm not a big fan of Mimikyu. I don't think it's as good as the teams make it out to be. But if I'm making a tier list based on what I think the meta is going to look like, Mimikyu is definitely a part of the meta. We see a lot of teams use Mimikyu to apply early pressure in the mid game, with its either Shadow Claw resets or Shadow Claw being amplified, or its player off giving it some invincibility, and then the Shadow Sneak resets being able to just go through teams. But one of the biggest strengths of Mimikyu, in my opinion, is its Unite move, right? I think we haven't seen the full potential of it, but a lot of times Mimikyu Unite move can be used to counter things like a Blastoise Unite, right? Blastoise surfs into your team and it's gonna, get a big Hydro Typhoon, boom. You can Mimikyu out the Blastoise, run past the Blastoise with the rest of your team, and try to take them down, nullifying a Pokemon completely out of the fight. So we'll see some Mimikyu. I'm not a fan of it, but it is going to be out there. The reason why I'm not a fan of it is I think a lot of its play is very telegraphed. Shadow Sneak requires you to be able to dash across the map through walls, which can be covered by your teammates. If you're playing Trevenant or Crustle and you stand in front of the Shadow Sneak, it'll go on to you. Mimikyu is not going to want to engage on that. And outside of that, it's a really immobile Pokemon if it doesn't land its Shadow Sneaks. So for that reason, I don't think I value it lower personally, But I do think we'll see a lot of it played. Other than that, we talked a little bit about Lucario, but Lucario is just a good, consistent Pokemon. You know, if you don't know what to play topside and you want something that isn't going to be immediately countered by the other team, you can just pick Lucario. It's safe. It can exist on the side of the map. It can contest farm with Power Up Punch. It's tanky. So it's not like a phenomenal Pokemon, but it does feel like the all-rounder of all-rounders in a way. And aside from that, this might be a bit of a hot take because we don't see it get played a lot, but with Japanese and international teams also being invited to their tournament, I think it's only fair to say that Dragonite will be a part of the meta in some shape or form. Hyper Beam did get a small nerf, but it doesn't mean that it is any less good at securing objectives. At the end of the day, Pokemon Unite is about securing the objective at the end of the map, and Dragonite's one of the best Pokemon to do that. It's not bad at level 5 with Dragon Dance and red buff autos while you're in the early game. It scales really well throughout the late game. It's tanky. It might lack some range, but you can make up with that at the rest of your draft. So we'll definitely see some Dragonite, maybe not as much as some of the other Pokemon, but I would keep my eye out for it. I'll add one more Pokemon here that I do think we might see, and we'll put that towards the end of the B tier, is Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime's Unite move gives you an engage tool that lets you be very sticky to ranged Pokemon. Ranged Pokemon like Glaceon really hate this Unite move and Espeon, because if they don't have their eject buttons up, they're definitely getting stuck by this. And even with eject button up, Mime can just follow them with their own eject. So for that reason, like having that in the late game is such a nice option. In the early game, Mime is one of the best tanks in the game to farm. So Mime is a supporter, but you know, make no mistake, it'll get played more in a defender kind of role, you know, replacing things like Slowbro or Blastoise in the bot lane, maybe Trevenant. If some of those Pokemon get banned out and we need to go deeper into the pool, Mr. Mime definitely will be one that we get to see. And there's a lot of good Mime players that are going to be at the tournament as well, right? I mean, Bruv, obviously very well known for playing Mime. I'm sure we'll probably get to see him on some Mime. But even on GT, we'll see some Mime get played. I think, and I think a lot of teams will probably end up relying on Mime after the other tanks get banned out throughout the draft. I think that's probably it. If I'm looking at the rest of the Pokemon, is there anything else that I would want to put in that tier? There are individual players that might play some Pokemon that, you know, might warrant a B tier pick. Maybe I'll say Metagross, right? I think Metagross is another option within these all-rounders that, you know, we might get to see some play. It's really tanky. It's really good in the side lanes. It might have a weak early game. The Unite move might be a little janky. But again, you know, it's going to come down to team's preference when things like Buzz and Blastoise and Tree are picked or banned away, what they're going to send to that top side of the map. And while Garchomp could be one angle, right, with an auto attacker that can rip objectives and can rip farm and has the ability to, you know, reposition the enemy team, Metagross is like almost like a pseudo, just a tank in terms of being able to take damage with Gyro Ball and stay alive, consistent damage in an AoE, hard to bring down, and then obviously its Unite move is high risk but really high reward as well. Desi, I think Desi as well and Talon are probably good examples of B tier attackers, and then Speedster, right? Definitely lower than some of the other Pokemon we talked about, so we could say that the tier is tiered itself. So I do think these two Pokemon are solid. Desi, it's a fine sniper that can still get picked. If you can outrange the things like the EVs, I think Desi is really strong. But its early game being as weak as it is, it being stack reliant, right? Whereas Venusaur doesn't really need stacks. I think Desi kind of is a lot more stack reliant, and its Unite move being a little bit weaker generally than some of the other attackers, it is a little lower. But it is a good sniper. It offers your team a solid secure from range. It can help set up opportunities with Shadow Sneak. So a lot of good looks that you could have with this Pokemon. I see a lot of people asking for Cram, because we did see some Cram as well in the March finals from NA as well, and I think we could probably put Cram in the B tier as well. Cram is probably better than the Pokemon that I would imagine being in the C tier. So yeah, if you're playing Dive, Air slash Cram, it is unique out of the other attackers and being that hyper mobile attacker. Its Unite move is hit or miss, right? Depending on the draft, Cramran can struggle really bad with this Unite move. I would imagine if we see things like Trevenant being played in the top lane, Cramran might not be seen as much because its Unite move is quite useless in the tree. The Pain Split tree can just stand on top of the Cramran and essentially tank the entire ult while dealing damage back to it. And Cram can definitely struggle to be able to be very mobile with its Dive Air slash build because it is susceptible to CC. But it is, it's a level 4, a Pokemon that can come online at level 4. It's a good laner. It has all the tools to be able to be potentially good, but it might be lacking in some aspects. I think that's a good B tier. I think that looks like a solid B tier. I think all of these Pokemon in the order that they're presented would probably be the order of operations I would give them. Maybe some of these have some mixing to do, but generally it looks pretty solid to me. Brazilian team one playing Cramorant as well. Well, maybe I'm undervaluing Cramorant, and we'll have to see how it does in London. But cool, let's move on to the C tier. I know a Pokemon some people are asking about was A9. I think A9 has potential. I think A9's really strong into Pokemon that love to dive in front of your face. And in fact, I think A9's not even that bad Pokemon into Buzzwole, right? Which is, one of the god tier Pokemon of the patch. But A9 struggles really hard into the snipers just because you get outranged. It's awkward to position in the endgame because of its passive, right? Sometimes revealing it out. And not only because of its passive, but because Blizzard, the way you deal a majority of your damage is Blizzard colliding into walls. So people can play around natural walls in the game to provide them like a barrier to A9's damage. So for that reason, I think A9 is a little bit weaker. And with all the other attackers existing, I would say they're generally gonna be stronger. But we could see some A9. We could see some A9 throughout the tournament, for sure. Some niche picks that I think are situationally really strong. We might see down here in the C tier, like Aegislash. Aegislash has been played in some games, maybe not all the way leading up to the finals, but it does have successful moments in tournament play. It's a decent option into many speedsters because wide guard sets up an instant wall that makes you really tanky. You have a stun and you have guaranteed burst damage with your basic attacks, which can lock onto targets, so you don't need to aim it. So the combination of both being really tanky and having that burst can be nice. It gives your team a solid secure option. So I don't think it's a great Pokemon by any means, but in like a niche tier, right, in the right situation, I think people can definitely pick Aegislash and make it work. I expect we'll see at least a little bit throughout the weekend. Sableye is another really good example of a niche Pokemon, right? Obviously, it's seen a lot of nerfs since it's come out, and generally when you pick it, it means that you're not picking a supporter beside it. So it will nullify some of the healing you could get from other supports when you pick Sableye. But being able to be invisible throughout the map, develop a point lead for your team, be disruptive on enemy backline, provide vision, get stuns, jungle invade if the enemy team has a weak jungler, right? All of those tools definitely can be conclusive to a winning strategy. And I'm almost certain there's got to be at least 3 or 4 teams that have a pocket comp with Sableye ready to go for EUIC. So we'll see a lot of this Pokemon. We won't see it. It won't be a Pokemon that's necessarily fought over in the draft, but teams will have it as a pocket strategy for sure. Other than that, let's see. If we want to be on the topic of kind of niche and weird supporters, I think Wiggly definitely could see some play. The other defenders are all really, really good, but Wiggly can provide some anti-measures into enemy speedsters. Wiggly can be disruptive with Q-Charm, and then the shielding is also really nice. Vermilion, thank you for the membership. You solo with Clef and it's still decent. Cool. Yeah, I think this is for more competitive in the AEOS Cup that's coming up. But for solo queue, yeah, decent. I would say it's definitely B tier. Other Pokemon in this tier, I think one that has been a bit of a letdown, at least for me, has been Dragapult. I think a lot of people, even myself included, had this a little bit higher up. It did get nerfed, but we never really got to see it shine in competitive. And I think for how squishy it is, it's just too difficult to make work. It's possible some teams might be ready with some Dragapult strategies, but you will need something like a Blissey to protect it and to be able to pocket for it, basically. Snorlax. Oh, I guess Snorlax we could have put in the B tier. That's probably something I should have left in the B tier. Snorlax, just a generically good tank. Like Lucario, I said, is like the all-rounder of tanks. Snorlax is like the defender of defenders, you know? He goes in there, he stuns, he goes to sleep, he picks up his HP. Very, very basic kind of tank. Its strength is it's really good in the early game, and it's never necessarily bad, but it's not gonna outshine most of the other defenders. A lot of other Pokemon, I think, exist in this tier. Pikachu, similar to A9. The other control mages, generally better. Pikachu is not bad. It doesn't feel like Pikachu has something that's special about him anymore, you know? Volt Tackle is annoying, but Volt Tackle also puts you in a vulnerable position. Can be countered by Full Heal. And it's not like the other attackers don't have viable options as well to be able to control the enemy team. So I think Pikachu just sits down here. He's doing all right. We might see some of it. I doubt we'll see some Pikachu, but we might. Mamoswine, I think, right? Another Pokemon that feels, in theory, it should be strong, but it's just up against a lot of really good Pokemon that exist in their roles, right? All the defenders are so good. It's kind of hard to justify picking Mamoswine, but it's not bad. You know, it can be disruptive, but again, he doesn't have like a specialty to him, right? There's no like oomph that Mamoswine has. Like, I guess its basic attacks can stun, and it has the freeze, but it's not like the defenders are bad, right? Like, I just don't see the oomph that Mamoswine can provide. Scissor, I think Scissor, actually, I rate Scissor pretty high. I think it's an option that you can go if you selected Scyther and the game looks like it might be better for Scissor, or as a last pick. Scissor definitely not great into a lot of heavy magic damage, but I think despite that, you'll see that if the enemy team has some magic damage, right, some special attack damage, and then just some other melee Pokemon that Scissor can go toe-to-toe with, it could definitely be a viable option. And if you get ahead, you just one-shot the ranged Pokemon anyway, right? The real weakness that Scissor has is that as an all-rounder, it doesn't have any secure, right? It doesn't have secure in the lane. So when it's left 1v1, a lot of the other all-rounders can out-secure it or out-farm it. And then on objectives, you're really tanky, you do a lot of damage, but you don't have any secure either. So I do think it's a lot weaker from that perspective. Other than that, in the C tier, I think Zard, right? Its Unite move honestly is not that bad, right? You can pick people up. It's really not that bad into evolutions, especially, but it does have an awkward leveling curve where it's really weak in the early game, like really weak in the lane. So you have to put it in the jungle. And if you're putting it in the jungle, it's a liability, right? So if you did a jungle split the way you do with evolutions and Zard gets like the early game blue buff and the rest of the farm, or something like that, and you help bring it online, it can work. Is it going to be better than some of the other attackers that are control mages? Maybe not, but it does give you a more scaling auto attack kind of Pokemon. So definitely think it's better than what we'll probably end up seeing in the D tier. But let's see, anything else? Not Water Bear. I don't think Lapras. Gudra. I think Gudra can be played not as a defender role, like not in the bottom lane defender kind of role, but definitely in the top path, right? In place of maybe spots where we might see something like Garchomp, when teams are looking for something a little bit tankier that could just sit up there. Gudra's definitely not a bad option. You do need things like Blastoise and Buzzwole to be removed for Gudra to be able to shine, but it could work. Machamp, I think we could put Machamp in the C tier. NA1 with it in the AEOS play-ins, right? If there's some good Machamp players, they could definitely try it out. I think I've seen some mission Machamps here and there as well. So yeah, I think Machamp definitely could see some play. We could put that higher. It's tanky, you know, it has decent early game secure. My problem with Machamp is this game is going to be played in person and online instead of online. And Machamp's Unite move in person is a lot easier to dodge and a lot easier to get out of because you're going to be playing on no ping than some of the other Pokemon are. So I think deeper in the tournament, I don't think we'll see a lot of this Pokemon, but it is probably better than the bottom of the barrel that exists out there. Absol is not an awful speedster, right? Really explosive, a little bit crit reliant. Has a decent Unite move after it's gotten buffed recently, right? For a lot of burst damage. And if Absol snowballs, if Absol's a good first gank, it's definitely a really scary speedster. It's just, if it doesn't have a good early game, and it ends up falling behind, it doesn't have a lot of great tools to be able to come back into the game. But it is rated a little bit lower down there. Let's see. Other than that, I think that's probably it. What I'll do here is we'll add a row here and we'll say EX so we can have an actual F tier because these aren't allowed. And then in the D tier, I think these are Pokemon that are like pretty weak but not unplayably weak. So like things like Lapras, we might see it, probably not. It's maybe not as weak as something like Duraludon or T-Tar, maybe Serena, right? These Pokemon, especially T-Tar and Serena in competitive, require too many resources to come online. And in the time that these Pokemon can get scaled up, I think teams will be able to abuse and exploit your weaknesses around the map. So I definitely rate these pretty low. I think Water Bear just got nerfed to the point where it's kind of unplayable. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think we'll really see it at all. What else probably sits down there? Greedent, you know, maybe Greedent might see some play with teams trying to, maybe teams have some pocket score comp setups or whatever. If we do see it, it'll probably be Covet Belch, but it's not a good Pokemon. Gengar as well in hand with Serena, T-Tar. It just takes too long to come online, and in the time that it's online, the enemy team has probably rolled away with the game, right? But all of these Pokemon, Tarina, Gengar, Serena, T-Tar, if these Pokemon were like given 2 minutes, right? Maybe in the first 2 minutes, no one's allowed to fight each other, right? First 2 to 3 minutes, and everyone starts the game after that, these Pokemon would be a lot better because they're not bad in the late game, right? Right? You might feel like, okay, wait, Serena in the late game is broken. Like, how could you rate it in the F tier? It's just by the time Serena gets to the late game, by the time he gets level 6, it's already fallen off. And then I think these other Pokemon are like playable, but probably still recognized as pretty weak. Maybe Zera is the best of them. Like Voltage, Zera is not bad, but it's just, it doesn't provide anything unique that other speedsters don't necessarily already have. And it's not as strong in the early game as all the other speedsters where they all come online much sooner. Greninja and Cinder, just auto attack Pokemon that play at their range. They don't offer enough to the team. We saw some Cinder in like the EU qualifiers, and we've seen some Greninja in the NA qualifiers, right? There's a couple teams that might use these Pokemon, but we're talking about the AEOS Cup finals where the best teams from every region are coming together and being able to play against each other. I don't think we'll see some of those Pokemon. And same thing goes for Azu. Just, it doesn't, like, it's definitely a cool Pokemon. But, you know, it's crits being able to be countered by tanking it because crits only apply on solo hit targets for Azu. And not being particularly great in the late game. And also the existence of all these other really strong all-rounders in the game. I just don't see Azu as that strong. And yeah, I mean, I think that's my tier list. I think I like the curve of it, how most of the Pokemon, the biggest tier is the B tier. And it's kind of like a sideways triangle, you know? Like, boom. Aesthetically, it looks very pleasing to look at, in my opinion. But I tried to answer some of your questions that you guys might have had. But if anyone has like any big questions or any big things, I'd be happy to talk about them. F can go after EX because that's alphabetical though. What about the S tier mons? They're all the way up here. S isn't alphabetical. How would I rank the EX mons? If I could, Miraidon would be like S++. I think Mewtwo Y would be S or A. I think Zacian would be A. Maybe S. And then Mewtwo X maybe would be like B or C. Something like that. But this is the order that they're good in, I think. And maybe these are interchangeable. I think Meow should be higher. It's insane passive, early spike, good lasting. It feels so good right now. I mean, it's pretty high. Like, I just don't think you want to first pick this Pokemon. It also has a kind of awkward matchup into Zoroark, right? Zoroark can illusion your bomb and also just kill you. It can proc your passive and get away from you. And then you can't fight it back because it'll illusion your bomb. It's still vulnerable to CC. I mean, I feel like it's pretty high already. Right? Its early game is good, but it is stack reliant. Right? Why is Blaziken higher than Mimikyu? I talked about it, right? But I just think Blaziken better in the early game. Shadow Sneak can get blocked. Blaziken has a good secure move. I think it's just a generally better Pokemon. Espeon feels A tier. Feels a tier too high, but there's no other attacker that could take its spot. It's just too good out of the jungle right away. And it's just such a safely strong Pokemon. Like, think of it this way, right? Imagine every Pokemon has like a difficulty multiplier, right? In that it's like a percentage of how difficult the Pokemon is and how well people play it, right? So a Pokemon like Zoroark played at 100% perfectness might be really, really broken, but it's really hard to play it at 100%, right? Right? If we were to rate all these Pokemon at being played at 100%, like if AI was playing them, like if ChatGPT over 1,000, computers and, 1 billion reps were playing them, right? Espeon wouldn't be rated that high, right? People would perfectly stay out of stored power range, maybe, but even then it might still be higher. They would dodge more side beams or whatever it might be, right? But that being said, like, you just pop out of the jungle, you just press one button and you instantly hit them. Like, it's just too strong. Their margin for error is too small. Like, you just can't mess up. Yeah, Mew is nice. It's just, thing about Mew is it's really slow at farming. And it's just not like, I just doesn't feel that much better compared to other Pokemon. What's the most underrated mon that I want to see played the most next weekend? For me, it's Ninetales. Like, I think I want to be able to rate Ninetales like B tier, to be honest. But people just don't play it. Like, I think Ninetales even counters Blastoise, right? Like, if you're good at Ninetales, and you guys have seen me do this, right? You can avalanche the Blastoise's Surf. Like, how broken is that? Right? You just anticipate where the enemy Blastoise is going to surf, and you throw an avalanche in front of where he's going to be in front of your teammate, and you block out the combo. It's pretty sick. Sometimes you could play Aurora Veil. I think if the other team has auto attackers against you, that you put your team in the Aurora Veil and hide. Level 100 Gengar I might not be as much of a believer on. Maybe not Gengar. Actually, to counter Scyther ult, Zoroark, or Dochio is really easy counter by Pikachu. I think at the highest level of play, people will kill the Pikachu. And I think they also will full heal and then it'll just die. And then if you play it in a support role, then you won't be having a healer on your team. So I don't think it's a good trade-off to have. They'll knock the Pikachu out. Pokemon don't die. Yeah, right? Not a lot of fights happen. They're gonna full heal, and then what is Pikachu gonna do? Aurora Veil into Leafeon combo? Yeah, seems like that could work. I just think on A9's underrated, that's all. Cool. All right, that'll be it. That's our tier list video. We got some content out of the way. To summarize, in conclusion, this game needs more evolutions to make the game more balanced again. What? What? Not more, no more. La. Mimeon. Also, is too high in your opinion? No matter what build you play, there's always something missing. If you play wall, you have no damage and mobility. If you go for then biff move. But if you go for then biff move, you don't feel like a tank and really squishy. It is high, but not A. You shouldn't have to use your Unite to be a tank. The fuck Crustle is broken, Habibi. I agree with Habibi over here. Did you make it to tier list part? We just finished it. You just missed it. Crustle's also tanky with its passive, Sturdy. Right? It's not just thing. It's not just its Unite move that makes it tanky. I can't spell. Yeah, evidently. Alright, I wanted to play some Player of Azu for some reason. I was kind of in the mood, you know? You ever get in the mood? And I was like in the mood to play Energy Player of Whirlpool Azu. This is what I felt like playing. You lost 10 brain cells from me reading someone's paragraph of Crustle. It's okay, man. I didn't have any brain cells to begin with. What Pokemon do I want to see buffed next patch? Probably Charizard. I think Charizard's just, you know, he's a cool Pokemon for Pokemon enjoyers. He should be good, right? Like, I want to see Charizard be good again. I'll jungle. Like, none of you guys want to jungle? I'll go jungle. Which Pokemon does the most mental damage? It has to be like Bro or Umbreon still, right? Can I jungle? No, I'm jungle. Buff Gutra. True. Lucario hasn't gone 11 a bit. True. Well, that's not that true, right? Luca got buffed like last year. Machamp hasn't unbuffed in a while. That's true. Sableye does most mental damage. True. I'd be down for some AG nerfs or AG buffs. Sorry. Mammo level 8 evolution? Just give Mammo level 7 evolution, right? But yeah, level 8 would also be fine. I did that too fast. I'm gonna give me level 4 now. I think. Should I go top? What is the Mimikyu? X speed. Did I not notice that I rotated up? Jungle Zera with Axe Attack, we just finished. Zera went bottom. I'm gonna go bottom too. I avenged the guy. Yo, why are you not running? I just killed your friend. Did he not see me kill his friends? Why are you not running? Honestly, I just want my buffs. Put it back. Why is there a Zard up here? Hello? No, forgot my ult. And dying was so bad there. Yeah, why don't I get to be invincible? I hate this Zera moveset whenever I play Azu. Because my Pokemon needs them to be here for me to do anything. They're both dead to Eld. Eld's gonna be huge. My team got bot. Make Decidueye Shadow Sing a dash, for God's sake. I think the point of the Pokemon is that it's a sniper without mobility, you know? Like, that's what keeps it balanced. Protect me, Regieleki! Oh my god. Team! Everyone knows you have to push for the Penta. Why did my whole team run away? No one wants to help get the Penta? It's actually so toxic. Like, they don't recognize me as the leader yet. What about Inteleon? Well, one, Inteleon's really strong, right? But Inteleon snipes don't go through people. And Desi's do. So that's why Inteleon gets mobility and Desi doesn't. And Inteleon's also broken, so, I mean, what do you want? But if Inteleon didn't have Fell Stinger, right? I don't think it would be good. I don't think its Snipe Shot would be good enough to play it. How broken is Azumarill? Oh, I'm dead. Almost have my ult up though. So Inteleon is wrongly designed. I don't know if it's wrongly designed. Right? It's designed the way that it is. Okay. Oh. Oh. Take him out. We're definitely done now. Add an extra shot to liquidation. I'm good, man. Not every Pokemon needs to have two viable, completely like every game viable movesets, you know? Inteleon is a sniper. If you're not gonna go the sniping move, it should be because it's weak, you know? Like, and you go the other move, like, in a spot where you're like, oh, I really don't want to be a sniper, so I'm gonna be weaker for it. But it's not fun playing it, like, it's so degenerate to just point and click do that much damage. Right, like, at least with Glaceon, you have to set up, right? You barely even have to set anything up with Liquidation. You just need one tick of passive. And Glaceon is also cringe, right? It's not like Glaceon's fun to play into. But why have a second one? No, they just ult. I've been chasing my ult down to get some ball and plus ball game. There we go. The only person alive is fighting our ninja. So over. If I made liquidation like Bullet Seed, I would have been down. They got play rough for sure. You have a Swifty on your friends list? That's cool. I played with them rough. Indy, I can't believe with you. I played you with you. I was yelled. What's up, Emmanuel? You miss John and Johnny? Yeah. The thing about John and Johnny is they were dicking around too much. Did I get fired? I didn't get fired. These guys did. John and Johnny? Like, look. They're still just... They're just still vibing. Getting no work done. Who's a shorty though? I mean, I guess John is kind of short. Azu, we Azu till we lose. I don't know. I just kind of felt in the mood, you know. I was in the mood to play rough today. Play rough till I whirlpool. You know. How's Aurelium strong? It is strong. Okay, I'm just gonna go stack. I can't really help a carp. No time to get another stack, but I did seal that. Nice. Got an assist for our guy. I'll be dead out of this. That's fine. The guy's really close to evoluting. It's good. Their jungler also just came a lot later than I thought he would. But I guess, I mean, he's goal getter, so. Well, we're still gonna have Gyarados even though we got jungle ganked, so that's good. My top lane got ganked. Oh. Thought I could sneak it in and XP away in time. Did we get value topside? We didn't. Gyarados can leave the pad. There's a eject again. I'm just being run around. I'll go top. How did I just get revealed in there? So weird. And all the way up here? Probably just ran down. I can go stack at least. X attack on the Eld. Her jungle is up. The bot pad fell, but it's fine, we can farm there. We're doing bottom. Metagross is doing the back stuff, so I can do this. I'm gonna leave because their team's definitely rotating, right? Time to get out of there. Don't understand how my top lane is so underleveled. I'm gonna go farm mid for my ult. There's no eject button, so you can't really live there. These guys are like, this is like double duo or trio or something. Like, what is my duo? These guys both just have potion and they're not farming. Okay, I mean, that's all of their Unite moves. Literally, they just popped every Unite on me at the same time. I still killed their Eld. Venu's still not level 9, man. Neither is my Pikachu. What are we doing, team? Like, how can you want to FF before you've even gotten your ult? Farming my ult back. I've used my Unite moves 3 times before my Pikachu even got his, basically. That's... should be illegally. We did it, but we're dead. Fine. I'll have another Unite move I can use before Ray, I think. Vino United, hit nothing, is getting dove. An ult now, because I'm away after. Greninja ulted and died again too. I'm gonna farm my Unite back up. I don't think my team, me being with my team, is gonna do anything. half of them just want to surrender anyways, so. Okay, well, they're dead. Waiting for my team to come in. That is a jet. Oh, I got Greninja ulted. I got Delphox ult. And we lost it. And we tapped our Gyarados ult. And we lost. I don't know how that was the higher MMR duo queue. Unless it was a trio. Right? Like, what were these two guys? But if they're duo queue, that means they're higher MMR than the other duo queue. Right? Which doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know, the other guys have higher win rate. Yeah, I could tell that these two players would definitely have a higher win rate than these two players. Maybe they don't, maybe it doesn't sort the duos by MMR, right? Or maybe because they've just played more, that's why they're higher. Like they played more this season. Well, yeah, I know that they're the two duos, but weird. I'm guessing that's one of the guys that was just in our game right now. I mean, it's probably the Pikachu, right? If I had to guess. Or maybe the Venusaur.
That's gonna go Comfy and help you level up.
We have a Comfy. I'm playing more Azumarill.
Azu works too.
They have a problem with me playing Azu?
I got your back.
Oh, they've got my back.
Please hear me? I mean, I'll turn my mic off during the game, but
I'll focus on fighting. Which spinning around opponents with Whirlpool did more? Maybe, yeah. Say you've got their back too. But what if I don't have their back? What if I don't have their back? Then what do we do? It's crispy heroes. My compy's not stacking, so I don't need to give them any money. They can if they want, it's fine. Oh, unlucky. I want to play Whirlpool, so I'm gonna go Whirlpool. Probably okay. I don't know what they're doing. Jungle Glace. And if it's not here now, it's probably bottom, but we'll see, I guess. I don't see it bottom. It's bottom, it's bottom. Got that too. I mean, I just have a comfy on my head, so I can play like this. A potion. Oh my god, how broken is my mon? I don't want to go and stack, because if someone came to the lane, I could die. I'm gonna sit here and wait. Healthy. I'm going with my Vudra. Pop out and tank some of that. Nice. Gonna break it. And I'll move around the map, I guess. Not doing bottom yet. We have an AFK. Battle the comfies. Miss a snipe. On this real quick. You got it. And then auto-targeted on the war portal behind. Oh my god. farming. This guy's Stone Edge, right? So he doesn't even have a stun. Glaceon and Inteleon. The Cheetar would not die though, man. How broken is Potion Sand Tomb? That's it. Time to nerf Azu. An all physical item Glaceon with 46% win rate. I mean, pretty impressive that they won 46% of the games with 0 items. We're leaving. This Comfy will not detach from me, but honestly, I'm down. I don't have my Unite move up. I'm not fighting without it. Like, I'm running energy amp. We need a Unite to win fights. I don't need it now because they're all low, but when they're inting on the thing. Oh my god. Penta. Hopefully pentas don't count. They're illegal. Need to get my Unite back. I'm going. He's not hitting it, is it? Too much shit in there, I'm not going in there. Getting healed up. Sniped. No, I died with icicle spears. I don't know, man, like, just need someone to go forward for me. Like, I can't tank all the damage into Inteleon, Glaceon, Cheetar. Our only tank is a Goodra who's, he's not noob. Okay, where, there's money here. We can stop that guy. I don't think I make it.
a shit Dragonite, a shit Dodrio. Like, this is why we fucking lose.
Oh my god. My
Terrible
Comfy's
fucking
not
team.
happy.
Only that Azu and that Goodra were the only two good players besides myself.
Besides myself. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm actually dead. Look, I'm not in trouble. I'm usually the guy in trouble, but I wasn't in trouble that game. Are Azu and Goodra the only good players on the team? Besides myself. Oh my god. I'm be honest, I did not know we had a Dragonite. I feel like our Dodrio was playing fine though. That needs to healing is hard to achieve on Comfy. I also tanked 110k damage, so alright. It's funny to smack talk the Comfy. Also, I think our Goodra was just not try, like they weren't trying. But their name is M not noob. They weren't noob. No, I'm just saying like the reason why the Comfy's healing us all is because I just took damage. Like sometimes there just isn't that much damage to heal on Comfy. But we were just fighting the whole time. But I mean, they played fine. They healed me. They got their flowers and healed me again. All right, no more thinking. No more Azuing. I'm back on Gyarados. Unlucky, unlucky. Killed 90 for a 4 can coming. I mean, that's good. It's something good. I'm not saying they healed because they healed a lot, they played bad or anything. Like they played fine. Just funny, that's all. Oh. The eject out of base. Is that good? What's up, healthy chatter? Stop hitting me, man. You guys are obsessed. Oh, let's do too much damage, man. I'm just trying to get my Evolute. It's funny that neither jungler ganked the Carp lane. My jungler is just AFK on their pad. I'm farming my Evolute, no one's here. No one's here. Just carp solo mid bees. Well, the Dragapult's here, I guess. I don't care, bro. I got my Magikarp all by myself. No one helped me this game. How many matches do I play a day? I play at least like one. Definitely I play 2 as well, usually. And then like, you know, we might extend that to 3. Lucky days we get 4, true. I might play 4 some days. Some days I might play 5. You know what? I'm gonna be brave and I'm gonna say some days I'll play 6. Mentally boomed by 7, but I'll play 7. Say I won't, and I will. Their Blastoise' name is Don't Get Upset. He doesn't want people to get upset. He pulled X attack. Could have lived, I think. The red buff is just 1 HP. I'm hopping. Getting my Unite back. I didn't see them on me, so I'm gonna go back top. But our tank isn't up here, so I think we can defend. Well. Don't let the comfy away. Comfy's away. Head to the Dragapult. The Dragapult really went back to his jungle to farm instead of the fight. I guess the fight lasted for a really long time. I don't have ult, so I need to farm. Was it our Pikachu? We have a Pikachu. With X attack. Do I play 8 matches ever? We definitely play 8. 8's my favorite number. I wonder what's the most games I've ever played in a day. What's the most games you guys have ever played in one day? Most Pokemon Unite games in one day. I mean, I've definitely played 20, right? Have I played 40? Way over 40? I think I've played over 40 in a day as well. Played 500 last season. I don't think that's one day. I'm gonna farm my ult on level 15. Like 50? How much is 50? 50 is like 10 hours of playing? Oh, I've definitely played 50, right? Oh no, 40 is? Yeah, I guess 4 per hour, right? I've definitely had games where I play like 12 hours, right? So, probably about, I think 50 is probably the max. We like them. And I don't want to solo rip it, but I'm down to. I'm gonna go back and fight them. Look at my team keeps going to cap when we wipe them all instead of finishing the game. My mom doesn't actually solo rip very well because my thing doesn't work on objectives. My attack speed bonus. Now my tree is dead. My town just ejected while they're ripping it. We lost it. Like, I don't understand why we can't just hit their mid, man. We wiped them twice. We actually 4 wiped them twice and we just go to score both times. I mean, we're still ahead, I think, but if the tree doesn't stop the Dragon Ball, it's definitely over. I think we lost. I don't understand, man. Like, I feel like people just don't understand how to win sometimes. Like, I don't understand. Is it not easy to figure out why we lose the game at the end, though? Like, man, Rayquaza's so broken. Well, no. What's broken is not hitting the Ray when we're ahead. Right? The second time we turn around to wipe them, because we have ults, cool. Let's go do Ray this time. But again, we just go to score 20 points. Was broken is your brains. Huh? My brain is broken after that, true. The Comfy was right, Crispy not it. Unlucky, unlucky. The Comfy had the read the whole time. Alright, I'm picking a mod that can hit the objective. I don't care where I'm going. Send me bottom. What up, Big Rudy?
It's the homie.
Thank you for the
Inder.
prime. Welcome back, welcome back. Many randoms believe they can win without killing Ray, even if they're ahead. I mean, how many times do they need to be fooled, though? Are you too late for the tier list? You are too late. You are too late. Sadly. Yeah, I think the teams just ignore the objective. Bring in the bush. And would have just brought into the bush, they wouldn't have had vision of it. I would be level 5 for the first bees. I don't even target that, I have vision of it. My god, man, tree is so balanced. It actually just doesn't die. Focus, passive, potion, boosted. You do need to kill Ray to win the game though. Because the only way to lose the game when you're really ahead is if the enemy team gets Ray. Right? So just mathematically, logically, allegedly, the only way to lose is if you give them Ray, so the only way to win is to make sure they don't get Ray. You level 4 gank with Cram? I mean, you can if you're playing dive, but with Mage Cram, probably not. And even then, like, it's probably only good if you're doing it to counter the other person from level 4 ganking. I don't know if you'll actually get a knockout, but you can for sure. Technically, you can with any range, really. Like anything that can auto attack with this red buff. And I had to tap my ult to get away. I just finished it in that time. Oh, he dashed in. Good. Need to farm. There's just running at our path though. Dead. So his focus man and mine's not up yet. Flail's just broken. Maybe super altered this thing for some reason. That's such an annoying team to push into, but they're also just inting. I'm a little under level, so we've just been fighting all game. But level 13 is fine still. Nice. 4 are dead. Fountain flies on CD. So 1 stack beam, but fine. You want to stop one of us with that, so fine. Really want a blue buff. I'm gonna hold the top if my team needs me, but it'll be fine. I'm gone. I must go now. My planet needs me. Yep. Ander, can you tell how Pain Split worked to do true damage? It's not always stop scores across shield. So Pain Split will do true damage if the tree is taking damage. Right? And the only way the tree can take damage during it without the other team hitting him is if tree has curse activated, because the curse will do damage to themselves. So you have to have curse on and then Pain Split. If you pop your curse, you'll stop hurting yourself, and then you can't do true damage to them. Trying out green screen? Well, I'm using it, yes. There's no trying. The green screen's not going anywhere. But it is a green screen, look at this. This is what's behind me. I'm just sitting in front of a green screen. I know it might boom your mind. Like you thought I was in the game, but I'm at home in front of a green screen. But no, I'm actually in the game. Crazy, you painted your wall green just for the screen. True. What if all reality is a green screen? Uh-oh. Thought I was in the office? Exactly. The home office. Really didn't get that? Even boosted to teleported to get in there. My meow was just here. Why are we just using our move for fun? We're actually just using our moves for fun. Let me see John. John got fired. I got lucky and I got that with an auto. My Greninja rotated down here with the sweet fruits. He's Giga late. My Meow left. Called. We got it though. What did John get fired for? He was yapping too much. John was actually just yapping way too much. Had to fire him. Because no, that's what happens to yappers. Ninja's here. Four are here. The This has to be degenerate, bro. Like, you jumped on my pad to do that. Not knowing whether I have eject or not up either. John D's nuts? What does that even mean? What does it mean to John someone's nuts? Need level 7, man. Objectived. 30, 30, 40. 30, 30, 30. I'm gonna go top and defend it. I'll help. Melted. Need my ult. Isn't Delphox a fox? Why would you think Delphox is a fox? They're obviously a Del. Del Bunny, exactly. Check it out. I just wanted to get my health back. I'm going. Do we have a pickle Pokemon yet? Dude, when are we getting a pickle Pokemon? Buzz ult is kind of fun, I guess. Let the Gren get the red buff. I want to use my Unite. You don't want to cap? Oh. Wiglet is not strictly a pickle. What else could Wiglet even be? Wiglet's a worm? Yeah, and worms are pickles, right? I guess we don't have a dedicated pickle Pokemon, though. We need Pickleon. Pickleju? I'm dead. I haven't even wasted my eject. I should have just died. All main. Ew. We expect more from you, ball sack repairman. Picklezard, true. What? The meow went to go back up. And it probably killed our Dodrio, that's why, right? Nice. I almost wasn't able to play the game though, because of Buzz. Some fireworks for him. Buzzwole is kind of like the pickle Pokemon, right? Like Buzzwole is kind of looks like a big pickle. Shuckle? Oh, true. We got Shuckle. Shiny Buzz is pickle colored too. True. Why is jump kick so loud? Well, it's got a thump, you know? It's got a thump. It's a low damage game overall. Crispy Heroes is actually good. Comfy was wrong. I don't think they were playing bad. Maybe they had a bad moment, but I don't think they were playing bad necessarily. Play Red Bear. What are the best DPS fills in a comp according to me? Like any of the evolutions, probably. They can go in any situation, usually. Depends what kind of damage you need though, you know? Do you already have 2 range damagers? Maybe you want a melee. Do you already have 2 melees? Maybe you want a ranged. Do you have 1 of each to play either? Depends on what the enemy team has. Face cam? I'll probably have the cam on every day I stream now. That's my commitment to streaming, you know? So you guys get to see, when I'm tilted, I don't need to say it. You could just see it on my face, you know? I hit you with one of these. And then when I'm happy, you could also see it on my face, right? I could hit you with one of these. You know, they're two very different expressions. The light setup today is perfect. It is. I have 2 lights now. I have 1 on each side. What's my favorite anime? I mean, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is pretty close to my favorite, but I like Future Diary. Mirai Nikki, that one's probably my actual favorite. Maybe season 1 Death Note. But Death Note season 2 makes it worse. Never heard of Future Diary? It's kind of old now, I guess. Do I want to gank the guard Cinder lane? Probably not. Oh my god, it was such a large punch too. My guard just decided that they needed the jungle. I wonder what happened bottom. Gather here. Bro, like, there's no helping the garbage lane that you guys picked yourselves into. We're just gonna break top, I guess. My ball laner's up here too, for fun. I can't throw chop in front of Wiggly because I just get the Q charmed. I need to just eject away. Hershey's punch, yeah, you need to charge it up. Otherwise it doesn't do much. You see the like little line? If you charge it past the line, you get the damage. If you're not, you don't do the damage. Like you'll do way less damage and won't crit. Anything is probably scoring top right now. Yeah. For the whole team. I mean, our comp is just garbage, right? Like, we have no tank, no support. We have Cinder Guard A9, like 3 range squishy characters. And I'm the jungler. It's not like I griefed another lane. None of these guys even wanted a jungle. Like, they wanted to play this greedy comp, and then also none of them jungle. So we just have to chill, I guess, for a really long time. If I'm fully stacked, we can definitely have a good shot at Ray. Missed my punch. I don't think I would have killed him either, even if I landed it. I'm only level 10. I have at least 4 stacks now. I don't have enough money to really make this play work, but fine, I guess. No one else on my team backed. Collected some free XP. Whatever. Got another stack, more ult charge. Should have another. I probably won't have another ult for Ray, but it's fine. 5, 6 stacks. We can go to Ray. And we have a shot to win, maybe. Like, if the enemy team doesn't show up and we just full flip it, we can definitely win. I think I died to the burn. Oh. If they do it right now, it's probably fine still. I don't think my team's gonna stop them from doing this. Oh, they're doing it too slowly. Right. I tried to steal it. I don't think they understand. Like, it's gonna be really bad for us with this walking home. Like, even it's a situation where we can lose the game even if we get mid. But okay, hopefully they just won't score. I'm just full tackle and we're backtrapping. The enemy team didn't rip it and didn't go to score. Melee range Cinder ulted them. And one of my 5 damage dealers ripped the Rayman. Wait, you can't Earth Shield Zard ult? I mean, I thought you could. I still did big damage to him. We're in the lead, but they're still gonna be hitting it. I don't understand. Like, I just feel like we didn't try to win this game. Our A9 is upset with people, so they're looking away from the map. Yeah, maybe next match we can give some more. Instead of a speedster, we can get another attacker. I don't know. I'll play like a defender or supporter in solo queue. I don't even mind playing them, but I can't go in the jungle with them. And if they're not gonna call jungle, I don't trust that it'll be a game where we just leave the jungle open. Four supports, true. I mean, it is what it is, man. Five supports, jungle mime, Mungo. Go too selfish of a support defender. I'll play it. I will play supporter defender. The thing is it's the people that want to lane Cinder when there's already a guard going to the same lane as them. Like, why do you want to subject yourself to that? Like, do I have an X account? I have a Twitter account. That counts. My Glace is a good player. All right, I'm down. I'm down for them to be a good player. Whoa, what are they doing? They're doing some red buff splits. Some tryhard duoing. Oh, and then they have Zoro Comfy up here. I'm gonna pretend like my team isn't coming here. So they walk forward. Don't want to scare them away. I think we have the damage killed through Comfy. What's their jungle? Like Serena or something? Why would he come back this low? Man, why does Hydro Pump do this much damage? He's a tank. Why do British people lose their accent when they sing? Do they have a real accent or are they faking it? I think they just put on a different accent to sing. People just have different singing accents. Please stock now. Can't contest them. It's getting fully stocked while I wait for my team. They broke it too. They're hitting it now. Oh. I died trying to steal it. I mean, they can't push with it either way, so it's fine. She's dead. I have nothing up. I'm gonna break the pad behind them. Or the Serena didn't land for so long out of their ult. I'm gonna leave. Unlucky for that guy. Why do people lose their accent singing? It's partly that many distinctive characteristics of an accent aren't reproduced well when you sing. Well, there you go. Just Zoro Comfy. The Zoro gets his cap sooner because the Comfy speeds it up for them. I'll cover a bot. I'll get Perma CC'd. Never mind, because Zoro's level 13. Zoro's a very fun Pokemon. Zoro Comfy dual tiers especially. Their Comfy's not even playing the game, man. Just spamming heal on their Zoro. Whatever, I farmed my ult back up. Bro's level 15. They're playing dull, they're not even full heal. We don't really have any stuns for them to full heal, so must be nice. The guard is just inting in our jungle. This is eject. They don't do Ray though, they're in trouble. Christian is ripping it. Nice. Said go back to your base. I mean, he's just playing. They're just playing Zoro Computer, right? Like, I don't understand. There's not much I can really do. And I mean, it's blind pick, so our comp doesn't have any answers for it, right? Like, we have tank Gudra and Eldegoss as our support tank. We have nothing like on any of our mons to be able to deal with Zoro Comfy. Just swing 100 on our home. I don't understand what's the point of playing Doll Zoro. I mean, unless you know that the other team isn't going to have any CC, and you can just Doll the Glaceon Icicle Spears. Pretty OP, right? Maybe they stream snipe. Cares, man. If they want to win games by playing Zoro Comfy Duo Q, it'll take them really far. Nice, it's draft. It's draft, but we have a duo queue. Wait, this is probably the worst time to have draft, right? Is when you have a duo queue. Because it means your solo queue players are going to be really low MMR. But I guess they'll at least be 1400. At least they're 1400, right? And all the bands seem good. Nice. First pick Greninja. Oh, they're a Greninja main? I see. We have XP Share Dodrio. He's a Greninja one trick? I see. Well, that's fun, I guess. What's up, Zach? I don't know if our XP Share Dodrio is real or not. This Dodrio is a demon. They're a demon. Why is Buzz commonly banned in draft, but is rare to see one in blind? Because people just don't want to play against it, you know? And I think people in draft might be more likely to pick it because it's just broken. Does that build every time you see him? Well, hopefully we do alright top. You missed the tier list? Yeah, you could scroll back on YouTube to watch it, or I'll put it on YouTube soonish. Me Gyarados. Have I seen the movie Pearl? I don't think so. Making the Magikarp solo lane by themselves top. This enemy team is griefing. Failed the invade. I can't do it in time because I'm a carp. I also didn't gank the carp lane for some reason. I don't even think I got an assist on that. Alright, I finally evoluted. Oh, we're just gonna kill the Glaceon, but my Dojo went to go score. They're not even stacking though, I don't understand. Right, it's like XP share Razor Resonant Guard or something. Guy's terrified. He's not gonna do top, I'll just farm mid. Break top first if he wants. Be okay? He is here, never mind. There's 3 people up here. Should get him. Cannot push. Essie is dead. Well, back to farming I go. I still have 0 stacks. I don't know, man. Like, it's actually just so boring that duo queues can just do this to you. Where my guy is just like, oh, I'm gonna go level 1 invade for fun as Dodrio. And my entire early game is bricked. Here goes our top Q2. I don't think we can cap, but I'll try. We have to get this off the map. It doesn't really matter if they get it though, because we kind of lost the time to defend it. I'm gonna go get stacks. Our ADCs can go clear it. Dragapult came and defended him. Just wanted to get some stacks, but I mean, I guess 3 stacks is fine. My team is inting. Oh, whole team is dead. We lost. All this spam thing pinging. I don't know, man. Like, I guess our one tricks couldn't one trick it away. Just 2 games in a row where we're just terrorized by duo queues, though. It's not even like one of those losses where it's like, at least I got to play the game. I literally have to solo lane as a Magikarp with a support Dodrio invading the game. But I mean, I'm sure my duo queue had fun. That's all that really matters, right? Do you think people will start doing math if we change the goal break text to we broke the goal with 30 back up? Maybe if the goal, like, if that came up, it would say maybe that'd help for people. Maybe not though, I don't know. People just don't read, right? How much is 30? Apparently the duo queue is flaming me. I don't care, man. They're playing Share invade the Dodrio, and the guy's X attack Greninja one trick. I don't know. I don't know how they could even talk. What can they even say? I mean, whatever, bro. AEOS Cup is tomorrow, right? No, next week. Next week. Did I already do the tier list? I did, yeah. I haven't played Lapras in a while. Let's play some Lapras. Nice. I have another XP Share Dodrio. Hey, maybe I just haven't figured out the XP Share Dodrio tech. My bad, I just didn't know. Don't want to link their channel? I mean, I don't care about them. If they think we had any chance at the Ray fight, they're pretty funny. Nice. Executor Dodge is a new meta noob. Oh, my bad, my bad. I mean, apparently it is. Oh. My guy really wants to go. We'll get it for him. Okay. Looks like the guy who made a Smurf account's finally tilted. Or is being crashed. I'm pretty sure he's lost like 4 or 5 games in a row, right? At least he's gonna, if he's doing that, he's doing it with XP share. He stopped. No, he's still running. He's still running in place. Jungle Solar Beam is not bad. There's like this thing that happens in Unite. It also happens in other games, right? Where like there'll be like a group of like content creators or whatever that maybe aren't like the mainstream content creators for the game, and all they do is like they band together and flame a bunch of other people. Oh god, it's our A9. That was a comfy game a couple games ago. And like people just like to do that. They just like to get in their cliques and flame people without actually knowing anything about the game. So I would just ignore those types of people. Don't have to worry about them. It's not like they're doing anything. Oh my god, R89 with the combo. Seraph, are you okay, bro? Do you need more attention? You're not getting enough? Yeah, just ignore those types of people. It's fine. Guys, well, how did it walk in? Who do I really want to damage for him? That's dead for sure. Let's go, Charizard. We're going for a ride. Oh my god, the eject. We have Zardalt though. I don't know why some people stop playing Lapras, because it's just better options. I'll take a Leafy on alt when I'm 1 HP. I don't know about Lapras being buffed. I think it's fine. The Mon is toxic. Doing a blue buff for fun. Alright, we're gonna seal it. I can feel it. Told you. Sometimes you're just feeling it, you know? When you're feeling it, you're feeling it. What the heck? He didn't even let his drill pack, his ult stun him before he drill packed him. He drill packed him off the pad, onto the pad. The Venus should have died there for sure. Unlucky. What's up, Goldfingers? Thank you for the sub.
Inder bonk.
Coming back. At least with Umbreon now you can outrange the mean look cast, right? I think it was a good nerf. Whoa, 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 Zard. We just burned our Zardalt for nothing. I'm dead to the Glace for sure. Wait. I swear it had way more spears, but I guess not. Your team. They're just gonna let me score too. My dojo is the best. Glaceon nerf came in clutch there. True, actually, right? I lived because Glaceon got nerfed. My whole team is dead. That almost got me with his goal getter, Scorch Shield. god, we won. I feel like our A9's about to chatter. Maybe Dojiro lost internet for a while. I mean, maybe, but they also put the XP share on randomly. And it didn't seem like they were really trying. But maybe. Do we have any words of wisdom from our A9? I don't think they have anything to say this time. It's an XP share diff. It's an XP share diff. Made them run faster to steal Ray. Were they even running Floatstone though? Everybody sucked but me. I was waiting for that one. Maybe they were watching the last Dojo guys stream, right? Maybe they got inspired by the streamer. XP share Dojo. I mean, it's funny, right? Like, I can understand why it's funny, but it just cucks the game for everyone. Like, I can't go a support because we can't double up on XP share, and I don't know what they're doing with it, right? Like, they're gonna go invade. Oh, now I'm just sitting top as a Magikarp. Charizard's a strong mon now. I think Zard is okay. I think Zard's alright. Funny haha or funny bad? It's pretty bad, but I mean, I don't really care what builds people want to play in solo queue, right? Like, I can't stop them. But it is bad, yeah. I agree, it is bad. XP share gives movement speed though, fast. The thing is like there's other items that make you faster. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off, guys. I got some work to do. If you missed the tier list, you can go to the start of the stream. It should be like within 10 minutes of the stream starting. So you guys can check that out. Otherwise, I'll be live again tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone. Goodbye.